is Shraddha and I am really excited to bring this module on ChatGPT for developers to you. In this video, you will learn about ChatGPT, how it works, and most importantly, how you can use it to increase your productivity as a software developer. So without any further ado, let's dive right in. Hello everyone. Welcome to this video on how to use ChatGPT as a general learning tool. So till now, we know that ChatGPT is an incredible powerful tool for developers. We will see how you can use it for various functions in the next few videos. Let's start by understanding how you can use it as a general learning tool, which can allow you to ask questions and receive detailed explanations on various programming topics. Whether you need to understand a new concept, explore a technology, or clarify a complex algorithm, ChatGPT is here to help. In this video, we will learn how to make a detailed study plan to learn an entirely new programming language. Let's take a simple scenario where I am working in a company as a software developer and I have a really good understanding of Java. But now my manager has put me on a new project and the requirement of this project is to learn JavaScript from scratch for front-end development. The first thing I will do is dread going on the internet to find resources, go to Stack Overflow or other websites to get whatever I can. In addition to that, I might not have the time and bandwidth to plan and find relevant resources in the given timelines. I would love it if I had an intern who would plan the entire thing and send it to me as soon as possible. Let us see how we can do that using ChatGPT and create a step-by-step plan to learn JavaScript for front-end. But before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends hoping to learn ChatGPT. Also, do let us know in the comments if you have any questions, suggestions, or requests for more information, and we will be happy to incorporate it in the next video. So the first thing that you can see on your screen here is either a login or a sign up button. You can sign up with your existing Gmail ID. I have already logged in with my Gmail account. So let's go to the ChatGPT homepage. As you can see, I have no conversations up till now. So what I will do, I will just start a new chat which is already present on the screen, and I will give a very simple prompt. Give me a detailed study plan to learn JavaScript from scratch for front-end development. So let us see what ChatGPT gives us. Till then, let us rename our chat as study plan for JavaScript for us to refer it later easily. Okay. Let's review this response step by step. It has given me different phases where it tells me to learn the basics of JavaScript, HTML, CSS, then go to DOM manipulation, then understand advanced JavaScript concepts. And phase 4, it tells me to learn the popular JavaScript libraries like React, Vue. And phase 5, it tells me to do a practice or a project work based on the concepts learned so far. It also gives me reassurance by saying, remember to practice regularly, which sounds great, honestly. But this is not enough. This is a very vague, high-level plan of how to learn JavaScript. Let's edit our prompt a little bit so that we get what we need and we get a very detailed JavaScript plan so that it is very easy for me as a developer to invest my time in it. Even though it did give a pretty elaborate answer, it is still not given me enough details. Let us modify our prompt and ask, give me a study plan to learn JavaScript for front-end development with resources and a timeline. It says, certainly, let me just provide you with the resource links and the timeline. As you can see on the screen, it is giving me a timeline according to the phase. The first phase includes 2 to 3 weeks of basics of JavaScript, and it has given me very good resources, that is for sure. Then it has given me 2 to 3 weeks for DOM and 3 to 4 weeks for advanced JavaScript, which is correct. And at the end, it has the practice and projects, which can go on as long as you want them to. Okay, looks pretty good. Let us refine it more by applying a simple study framework to it by asking the question in a who, what, when, where, why manner. So, this is a 5W framework that is usually an amazing framework to learn a new programming language. Who in this is what role you want ChatGPT to play. What do you want to learn? When is the timeline of till what time you can learn it in? Where is the kind of resources or places you want to study from? And why is the context for learning this particular language? Let us see how this query looks like. I have already written down a simple query which looks like this. I am asking ChatGPT that act as a tutor that helps create study plans to help people learn how to code. You will be provided with the goal of the student, the study preferences, and their time commitment. You will have to create a study plan according to all of these parameters. Only include relevant resources links as time is limited. My first request for this is I am a backend developer, but I do not know how to code the front end. I have very limited knowledge of HTML and CSS. I want to become a front end developer and I can give only 10 to 12 hours a week. I would like to have only video resources and links where I can practice code. I want to learn this in JavaScript. Help me create a study plan. So let's send this to ChatGPT and see what kind of plan it comes up with. Okay. It is definitely giving me more video resources, just like I mentioned. Let us look at the response that ChatGPT has given me. It starts with HTML, CSS basics. It has given Code Academy. Okay, Traversy Media. I have personally seen these videos and they are pretty good. JavaScript, basics of JavaScript, DOM manipulation, advanced JavaScript. Even though this is a very good plan, it is a bit steep for advanced JavaScripts. Definitely, it might take a little more time. And React as well. React is a very wide framework to learn. But overall, it has given me a very solid base to start from. This looks like a very good plan for me to start my learning journey with. But this has given me a pretty solid base to start with. But there is still a chance to improve this plan. This helps you learn in a very breadth first search manner. In order for you to learn something thoroughly, you need to learn it in a length first fashion. That is, apply the concepts you learn. Coding has a very applied learning curve. You cannot learn a new programming language if you do not apply it somewhere. To refine your study plan a bit more, what you can do is ask ChatGPT to give you ideas for projects where you can apply those concepts. Let's ask ChatGPT that act as an expert front end developer and create a simple front end project on JavaScript and React for a e-commerce website. It gives us a step-by-step guide to start the e-commerce project on React and JavaScript. It has also given us instructions on what are the default files, what kind of code will go into which file, what is the component structure, what are the different what are the different products that you need to put in, what will be the cart functionality, what kind of styling you will have to provide. These are some of the high-level instructions that the ChatGPT has given you to start your project with. It can definitely be refined more. The more your query is refined, the more your response will be refined. So the entire response that you want to get out of ChatGPT depends on the input that you provide to it. So this was about creating a simple study plan using ChatGPT. It's not perfect, definitely, but it is a pretty good plan. This was one of the ways you can use ChatGPT to become a versatile developer. You saw in this video that how important it is to learn to give good prompts. This actually has a term called prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is the process of crafting effective prompts or instructions to guide the behavior of language models like ChatGPT. It involves strategically designing the input text provided to the model in order to elicit the desired output or response. With ChatGPT like advancement, it has helped create jobs like prompt engineers, which has already gained a lot of popularity in the industry. It is like having an intern do simple mundane tasks in a faster way. In this video, you will learn one of the most remarkable features of ChatGPT, that is the ability to generate code. With a simple prompt, you can ask ChatGPT to generate code snippets, saving you some time and effort as a developer. It can generate code in various programming languages, making it a versatile tool for developers across different domains. It can generate code in Java, JavaScript, Python. The list goes on. But it has to be noted that ChatGPT might not provide us with correct answers or code all the time. We have to verify its response and see if it fits our use case. Let's see a simple example by asking ChatGPT to generate a code snippet in Python to swap two integers. So I will be giving this prompt that says write a Python function for swapping two integers. Till the time ChatGPT gives me a response, let us rename this as swapping integers Python. Let us see the response that ChatGPT has given us. It has given us a very simple, well highlighted code on how to swap two integers. Along with that, it has also given us how to use this particular function because we have specifically mentioned that we want only a Python function for swapping two integers. It tells us how to use this using different print statements. It also tells us the output that we can get for this particular code snippet. Along with that, it has given us the explanation of the different variables that it has used and the different functions that it has used. And also, it has given us a little more explanation on what exactly the function does. Let us try to have a conversation by asking ChatGPT what can be the time and space complexity of this function. So you know that ChatGPT remembers the entire history of the conversation. It is not going to ask me which function. I don't have to specifically mention that I want time complexity for swapping two integers. It has automatically assumed the context of the conversation, and it tells me that the time complexity for this function is O1, which means it has a constant time complexity. So regardless of the magnitude of the number of integers or the number of times the integers are swapped, the function performs a fixed number of operations because it is only one thing that the function is doing, that is swapping two integers. And it has also given me the space complexity, which is also the same, indicating that the space complexity is also constant because it uses only one temporary variable to hold the value of one of the integers during the swapping process. This is a very well explained answer for someone who has no idea about what time and space complexity of a function can be. By the way, if you want to learn about generative AI in far more depth and detail than what I'm covering here, we have a lot of courses of AI and ML from top universities in India and the world. Link is pinned in the comments. Go check it out. So while we are at it, let us try to get a code snippet in a different language. Let us ask write a function in Java to generate random password. As you can see, it has no problem giving me a response in Java as well. Before we were working with Python and now we are working with Java. So there's a function called random password generator. Then we have different variables for lowercase, uppercase, special characters, and then we have the main function. This is a pretty good code, and I would definitely recommend this as a base for someone who has no idea on how to start their code base with, or if the code that they are writing for is very complex, this can act as a very solid base to start with. In conclusion, ChatGPT is definitely an impressive tool that can generate code snippets in various programming languages, as we can see. It can save developers time and effort by providing code on demand. However, it is important to note that the generated code may not always be correct. So, it's necessary to verify and evaluate its response to ensure that it fits the specific use case. In this video, you will learn how to use ChatGPT to enhance your coding skills. Till now, we have seen how to create a study plan and how to generate small code snippets. Along with generating code, one of the most intuitive functions can be to provide feedback on your code. When you are working in a company, it is important to have code reviews to get some feedback on it. ChatGPT can provide valuable feedback on your code. By sharing your code snippets, you can receive suggestions, identify potential errors, and even get tips on how to optimize your code for better performance. This feedback can significantly enhance your coding skills and help you write more efficient and robust code. Please note that for any task related to code that you perform with the help of ChatGPT, you have to be good enough in that area to detect errors and misinformation in case it fails to provide the correct answer. Let us provide ChatGPT with a simple code that says, I will be asking ChatGPT, what do you think of this code in one paragraph? And I have already copy pasted my code here. So it's a simple Java program. It says the provided code defines sum of numbers. Inside the class, it is there are two variables that it has declared, n1 and n2. However, the code does not assign any values to n1 and n2, so both remain at their initial value 0. And finally, the code computes the sum of n1 and n2 and assigns it to the sum variable. Overall, the code appears to be incomplete as it lacks any output or further functionality beyond calculating the sum of two numbers. So as you can see, it has told me what exactly the code does. And it has also provided me with some feedback on that this code does not do anything. It is just adding two numbers. There is no scenario where this function is printing the sum or returning the sum anywhere. Let us try to ask ChatGPT, what do you think about this code in detail? As you can see, it has given me a well highlighted code, and it has also made it in a proper format. It looks pretty good. And it has given me a detailed summary of what exactly the function does. It says the line sum equal to n1 plus n2 calculates the sum. And it has also told me in detail that this code does not perform any meaningful computation or output. It simply initializes three variables and computes their sum, but the result is not used or displayed in any way. So it has also suggested that if you have a specific goal or requirement, you may need to modify the code to perform the desired operations and include appropriate output statements or additional functionality. Well, this is pretty impressive. Now let's ask ChatGPT if it has any recommendations about this code. Do you have any recommendations on this code? As you can see, I don't need to give any context. It automatically assumes that I'm talking about the summation function. Let us see what it has replied. It has told me that instead of generic names, you can provide some meaningful names, which is a really important factor when you are coding in a company. because there are so many variables that you work with. And it has also told me to initialize, to not initialize it to 0, initialize it to 5 or 10 so that it is more meaningful. It has told me to display the results somewhere and consider taking N1 and N2 as user input using the scanner function, and also add some error handling to it, because it's a good practice to include error handling in case of invalid inputs. You can use exception handling or conditional statement to validate the input and handle potential errors gracefully. As you can see, this is a code that you write as someone who has newly entered into the development industry. But when you go to some company where there are specific requirements about how to make a function more viable, then you have to use these recommendations, because it is very important for you to know that variable names matter a lot, error handling matters a lot. So it has also told me that in this version, the program prompts the user to enter two numbers, calculate their sum, and display their results. This looks pretty good to me. Now let's move on to a little more complex code. Let us ask ChatGPT if the code that I'm going to add right now has any vulnerabilities, because I want to know if it will give me any errors in the future. So I'm going to ask, what do you think of this code, and does it have any vulnerabilities? This is a code that is from my own project. It is a product service function on Java. It's a very long code, so let's see what ChatGPT gives us. It tells me that there are a few observations that it has done. It says that the code appears to be well structured and follows good practices. It says dependency injection, standard naming conventions. The code follows standard Java naming conventions, which enhances readability and maintainability. There is error handling. Then there is stream operations, which is map and collect. And then there's security and input validation. It says that the code does not contain any explicit security measures or input validation. It assumes that the code is valid, that the input is valid, and does not address potential vulnerabilities like SQL injection. So it tells me that the overall code seems to be well implemented and follows good coding practices. However, it is important to consider security and input validation measures depending on the context in which this code is used. This is a pretty good answer. I have gotten a lot of insight on my own code, and maybe in the future I will be implementing these things in my project. So at the end, let us ask ChatGPT, what are some good coding conventions in Java? So it has not only given me some of the good coding conventions, it has also told me that it has also given me examples associated with it, like how to do naming for variables, how to do indentation, how to comment. There's code organization. You always have to do error handling in your code. Then there's naming convention for constants and enums. You have to use uppercase. Then there is use of generics for type safety. Then there is testing and documentation. So it also tells me that these are some of the common coding conventions in Java. Follow these to promote readability, maintainability, and consistency in your code. As you can see that it has provided me with some solid recommendations, which undoubtedly makes my coding better. And as conclusion, it has sufficiently informed me about the code and provided feedback on how well my code will function in the future. Another great capability of ChatGPT is its ability to find and explain errors in your code. Till now, we have seen how to get feedback on your code. But now let's see how I can find errors in my code. By sharing your code with ChatGPT, you can receive detailed explanations of any errors or bugs present in your code. This can be immensely helpful, especially when debugging complex programs or unfamiliar code bases that you have never seen before. Let us see some of the common scenarios that may occur while coding. For example, let's say I want to introduce a delay in execution in Python. I need to use the time module and its sleep function. I will now demonstrate how ChatGPT can find and fix this specific bug for me. I'm going to write find any possible errors in this code. So it tells me that the code you provided is missing an import statement for the time module. Here's the corrected code. It has imported the time module for me so that I don't run into any errors in the future. As you can see on the screen, I inputted my code into ChatGPT and it quickly identified the error. It provided me with a suggestion to import the necessary module and even included the correct import statement in the code. I'm pretty impressed by ChatGPT's ability to not only identify the bug but also provide a solution for it. Now let's move on to the second test. Sometimes I run into an index error, list index out of range, which can be pretty annoying error to deal with. Let's see if ChatGPT can help me identify and fix this type of error. I will ask, I have given it an input and it is telling me that there are few errors in the code. Here's the corrected code. As you can see, it has given me the corrected code. And it has also given me a list of errors that we might run into. It has told me that the parameter name input is something that is a built-in function in Python, so it's better to use a different name for it. The for loop in the original code is not indented correctly, so proper indentation is necessary to define the scope of the loop, and it has changed it to while on its own. It is also telling me that while deleting elements from a list, you should use while loop instead of for to avoid skipping elements or encountering an index error. So it has told me that we might run into an index error. And it has modified the loop to use a while loop instead of for. It is also telling me that the return statement in the original code is not indented correctly. It should be placed outside the loop after the elements have been processed. And it has also made all of these corrections by itself. That is pretty impressive. Let's move on to the third test. Another error that anyone might run into is the division by zero error. This is a common error that can occur when a program attempts to divide a number by zero, which is undefined in mathematics. And most of us do not realize while using loops or conditional statements or any sort of array initialization that there is a chance that we might run into division by zero error. So let us see how ChatGPT can help me identify and fix this error. So I'm going to ask, find any errors in the code given below. I've already copy pasted the code. Here is the statement that might run into a division by zero error. As you can see, it has told me that there are no syntactical errors in this code, but we might run into a potential logical error. So when the input list is empty, the code will raise a zero division error because dividing by zero is not allowed. To handle this case, you can add a condition to check if the input list is empty before calculating the average. And it has given me the modified code that is checking if the input list is zero. If it is not, then it goes into the function and then divides and finds the average. In the modified code, some function now checks the length of the input. So this is how it is preventing us to get a zero division error. This worked pretty well too. In conclusion, I must say that I'm really impressed with ChatGPT's capacity to identify and correct code issues. It's evident from the samples that we have provided in this video that ChatGPT is a strong tool for code debugging and may help developers save a lot of time and effort. It doesn't just point out flaws, it also offers a variety of solutions, letting developers pick the one that works the best for their particular use case. So I urge all of you to give it a shot and see how it enhances your productivity and efficiency. You can ask ChatGPT for advice on how to make your code more effective in addition to looking for flaws in it. You can improve the performance of your code with help of ChatGPT. It can provide suggestions for changes, point out bottlenecks, and direct you towards producing code that is more productive. You can increase the resource usage and execution speed of your code by using ChatGPT. By providing natural language queries to the AI model and seeking advice on how to enhance the code, it can be of great use to optimize any kind of code. So for instance, You can send ChatGPT a piece of code you want to improve and ask for advice on how to make it more effective. Let us start with something very simple. Here's an example of a prompt that you could use with ChatGPT. I'm going to ask, given the following Python code, how can I make it more effective? And I am giving it a code that is going to give me square of a number. As you can see, it has given me some suggestions that says use a more meaningful function name. It tells me to add type hints. Then it is telling me to include a docstring to describe the purpose of this function, its arguments, and its return value, and avoid unnecessary variable assignment. Instead of assigning the result of the square function to a separate variable, you can directly print the output of the function call. So it has told me that you can incorporate these improvements and also shown me the code on how it is to be done. And it has told me that with these changes, the code becomes more readable, maintainable, and follows best practices. This is a good approach to understanding how to optimize my code. But this is a very simple example that we have seen so far. There are some instances in any code that might require memory management, because memory management makes a code very effective and faster as well. ChatGPT can make some recommendations on how to improve memory allocation, reduce memory leaks, or use more memory efficient data structures by receiving information about your code's memory usage habits. So let's see another example. By the way, if you want to learn about generative AI in far more depth and detail than what I'm covering here, we have a lot of courses of AI and ML from top universities in India and the world. Link is pinned in the comments. Go check it out. Let us ask ChatGPT, what is your take on making the following code snippet more efficient? I have already copy pasted my code here. So it is telling me the exact same thing that I mentioned before, that we can make it more efficient by avoiding unnecessary memory usage and improving the computational efficiency. It has told me that use a list comprehension. Instead of using a for loop to create large list, you can use list comprehension, which is more efficient and concise. Use a generator expression. And then it has told me to avoid unnecessary list creation. Since the sum function works with any iterable, you can directly iterate over the generator expression or list comprehension. This eliminates the need to store the entire list in memory before performing the computation. It has also given me a version of the optimized code. These are very simple examples of how ChatGPT could help you optimize a Python code. By asking the right questions and providing clear, concise code examples, you can get some very valuable insights and suggestions from this AI model. The practice of unit testing is crucial to the creation of any software. By giving you sample test cases and guiding you through the procedure, ChatGPT can assist you in writing unit tests. It can help you make sure that your code works as it should and manage conceivable edge circumstances, producing more dependable software. So let's see how we can use a very simple function and ask ChatGPT to create some unit tests on it. To determine if it stumbles, we'll ask it to create some unit tests for a recursive function. The factorial is one of the most basic recursive function that comes to my mind right now. I'm going to ask ChatGPT, can you write some unit tests for the following JavaScript code? I have added a factorial function because it's a very simple function. Let us see what it has given me. It has given me a few tests, total 3 test cases. First is testing factorial of 0. Second is testing factorial of a positive number. Third is testing factorial of a negative number, and it should throw an error. It is pretty impressive that it took into account the possibilities of negative integers and real numbers as input, in addition to particular situation of 0 factorial. As you can see, it has checked all of these conditions in a pretty good manner. And it says that these tests cover the basic scenarios of factorial calculation, including the factorial of 0, positive number, and a negative number. You can use a testing framework like Mocha or Jest to run these tests and verify the correctness of the factorial function. So now that we have calibrated, let's move on to a more realistic example. This was a very simple example. Let us ask ChatGPT to write some test cases for this particular function. Can you write some unit tests for the following React code snippet? I'm going to copy paste the code here. This is not very well indented. It has added the following scenarios: a test case for adding an item to the cart, a test case for removing an item from the cart, and a test case for clearing the cart. And finally, it has added throw an error for an invalid action type. Even though it has given me all the test cases, keep in mind that we might need to make a few minor tweaks in order to have things working properly, because ChatGPT is unaware of our specific file structure. There can be some instances in this particular code that might throw an error because of the code that we have given, or it might throw an error because ChatGPT has given us some kind of misinformation. But it is not something that we cannot handle or we cannot correct. That is why I mentioned before that anyone using this particular tool to work with code has to know the base, has to know what exactly they are asking. As you can see that we have now understood how to create some basic unit tests for our code. ChatGPT can simplify the code conversion process. By providing your existing code and specifying the desired programming language, it can generate the equivalent code in the target language, saving you the time and effort of manual conversion. ChatGPT has demonstrated remarkable accuracy in handling translation tasks, surpassing expectations. While Google Translate has been long preferred tool for multilingual translation, recent studies indicate that ChatGPT can compete favorably with commercial translation products for high resource European language as well. What sets ChatGPT apart as a translator is its versatility. It not only excels at translating natural language text, but also handles code translation across different programming languages. By providing an appropriate initialization prompt that describes the desired translation, ChatGPT can swiftly generate converted code with exceptional accuracy within seconds. Given the similarities among various programming languages, providing context through the prompt is crucial for successful code translation, as it is for any other functionality. This prompt is going to act as a guide for code translator, clearly specifying the type of code being translated and enabling a smooth translation process. Let's check it out with a simple example. I'm going to give it a code on Python for a very simple number game. Let's ask ChatGPT, please translate the following Python code into JavaScript. And I'm just copy pasting the code. Let's see what it has given me. It has given me a proper indented and commented code which says it's a number game, generate a random number, welcome to the number game, can you guess the number? It has also added all the conditions given in the Python code, and it has called the function for the game to start. It has also given me a note that in JavaScript, parse int is used to read input from the user via browser's prompt dialog. Also, console.log is used to print to display output of the console. So this is an amazing response because if I am not aware of how JavaScript works, I am going to have doubts on what parse int does and what console.log does. It has given me the explanation automatically, but in case I need more explanation on it, I can just simply ask that what does the parse int does in this code. It is giving me a very detailed answer on telling me how it works. The prompt function is used to display. The value entered by the user is returned as a string. The parseInt function takes the string as an argument and parses it into an integer. If the string can be converted into integer, it returns the integer value. If it cannot, then it returns not a number. In the context of number guessing game, parseInt is used to read the player's guess from the user input and convert it into an integer so it can be compared with the secret number generated by the game. As you can see, this is a very good way of learning a new programming language as well, in case I am not aware of it. As a language model, ChatGPT may produce some errors in the code. Right now, I am not able to spot any. I don't think there are any. But please make sure to verify and run the code before using it anywhere important. Any mundane task for any developer is to create documentation. Documentation plays a crucial role in software development. ChatGPT can assist you in generating documentation by doing simple tasks like adding comments to your code. Writing documentation is often regarded as one of the less enjoyable aspects of a programmer's job. However, ChatGPT can assist in this area by automatically generating comments and external documentation for code. It can be either inline comments or it can be by providing code snippets along with descriptions of their functionality. It can generate comments that explains the purpose of specific code sections or provide an overall view of the functionality. Let's start by taking a very simple Python code of adding two numbers. Let me ask ChatGPT, please add comments to the following Python code. And it gives me, sure, here are some comments added to the code. It has added this function takes two numbers, A and B. It returns the sum of the two numbers. It also tells me that the comments provide a brief explanation of what the code does and what each parameter represents. This was about a very simple summation function. Let's go on to see how and what comments it gives us for a complex function or for a complex code snippet in Python. This was about a very simple function on adding two numbers. Let's see a little more complex function of a simple quiz game in Python. I'm going to ask, please add comments to the following Python code to make it more readable. I've already copy-pasted my code of a simple quiz where it asks me, what is your favorite programming language? Do you follow any tutor on Python? What is the name of your favorite website? And here it has given me the code with comments to enhance readability as I asked. This was about a very simple code on how to add two numbers. Let's see a little more complex code in Python of a snake game. I'm going to ask, please add comments to the following Python code to enhance readability. I have already copy-pasted my code. You can see how fast it gives me the comments along with the code. Let us see what all it has given me. It has given me that the width of the screen is this much, the height is this much. We have given the delay as well. And the first function is to reset the game to its initial state. Every single line it tells me that this is the initial position of the snake, this is the direction of the snake, this is the position of the food. Then it tells me how the snake moves and checking for collision, check for collision with the food, check if the snake goes beyond the screen boundaries, draw the snake on the screen, check for collision, get a random position for the food, calculate the distance between the two positions. As you can see, it has given me a very well-detailed commented code, and it has also provided explanation for the purpose of each and every section and describe it. This makes it very easy for me as a reader to understand the functionality and flow of the program. And I didn't even have to go through the code. What I can do now is verify if the comments are correct or not by going through the code. But it has given me a very good base to start off with. Sometimes, as a developer, you need to brainstorm ideas or explore different approaches to solve a problem. ChatGPT can be your virtual brainstorming partner. You can bounce off ideas of ChatGPT, discuss potential solutions, and receive suggestions for alternative approaches. This collaborative environment can help you think outside the box and find innovative solutions to your programming challenges. Imagine you're learning JavaScript and you have just explored the capabilities of web APIs. You are keen to create an application that utilizes one of these APIs. In this scenario, you can ask for ideas for an app that makes use of a web API.
But before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends hoping to learn ChatGPT. Also, do let us know in the comments if you have any questions, suggestions, or requests for more information, and we will be happy to incorporate it in the next video.
For an instance, let us inquire that can you provide me with some app ideas that make use of web APIs in JavaScript? Let's see what ChatGPT gives us. In response, it has given me certain suggestions like a weather app, music recommendation app, news aggregator, movie finding, recipe finder, language translation, flight tracker, social media analyzer, public transportation scheduler. These ideas can definitely spark your creativity and guide you in building your application. But if none of these ideas resonate with you, you can ask for more suggestions. However, if a particular idea captures your interest, you can dig deeper by asking for more details about that specific idea. For example, you can say that, tell me more about the second option, news aggregator app. Well, this is a very detailed answer. It tells me that a news aggregator app is designed to fetch news articles from various sources and present them in a centralized location. It has given me some additional details like on how to build news aggregator app, like API integration. You need to do API integration to fetch news articles. You need to do the user interface design for an intuitive and visually appealing user interface. You can do an article display where each news article should be displayed in clean and readable format. And you have to include key information such as the title, source, publication date, and a brief summary. You can do some personalization to it by adding some features for the users to get personalized newsfeed. For example, if their preferred news is politics, they can prioritize those articles for them. Then there are saved articles and bookmarks. There is push notifications, and it is telling you to consider to integrate push notifications so that the users are alerted with the breaking news alerts and updates on the topics that they are interested in. They can also customize their notification preferences. It has also asked that we can use social sharing, which is something that allows users to easily share articles. And then there's offline access. Implement caching mechanisms to allow users to access previously fetched data even when they are offline, just like we do in Google Sheets or Google Documents. And it has also told me to comply with the terms of use and usage policies of the chosen news APIs, because some APIs may require attribution or have limited usage, and it is important to review their documentation and guidelines.
By the way, if you want to learn about generative AI in far more depth and detail than what I'm covering here, we have a lot of courses of AI and ML from top universities in India and the world. Link is pinned in the comments. Go check it out.
Let us ask, if I plan to build such an application, suggest me a few attractive names for it. Okay, so it has given me a few attractive names for my news aggregator app. It has given me options such as News Hub, News Pulse, News Flash, News Blend, News Flow, and told me to remember to choose a name that aligns with the app's purpose and target audience. So as you can see that I can use many prompts, serial prompts to brainstorm a new idea that I want to come up with, or I can also list down the ideas that I'm not even aware of if I have just the information of a single concept such as JavaScript web APIs. I can do this using a lot of other concepts. I can use it in Python, I can use it in any other programming language, and then I can try to focus on one specific requirement that I want or something that I'm interested in, and then brainstorm on top of that. So as you can see that I have continuously added prompts on top of each other so that I can come up with a small idea. I can also tell that I have chosen the name News Wave as it sounds good to me. Please give me a product description for it. As you can see here, it has given me the name Newswave and a catchphrase along with it, which says stay in the now, write the Newswave. Sounds pretty good to me because I can now build on top of this. And it has told me there are some key features, trending top stories, easy article navigation, download news now and become a news surfing pro, stay informed, explore diverse perspectives. And this is just a sample product description. We can definitely modify it according to my specific needs of the application. Unified modeling language, that are UML diagrams, are very crucial for visualizing and designing software systems. Be it a class diagram, activity diagram, or a sequence diagram, it is extremely important to structure your project in a diagrammatic way to make it more detailed and understandable. ChatGPT can assist you here in creating UML diagrams by interpreting your textual descriptions. By explaining the structure and behavior of your software, it can generate UML diagrams that provide a clear representation of your system's architecture, classes, and relationships. UML diagrams are commonly employed in technical documentation due to their ability to effectively convey extensive information through visual representation. However, generating these diagrams typically requires utilizing drag and drop tools and necessitates a comprehensive understanding of the entire flowchart before initiating the creation process. To utilize ChatGPT for this task, simply give it a command. Although ChatGPT doesn't have the capability to generate diagrams directly, we can leverage Plant UML for this specific purpose. Plant UML is an open source tool that facilitates the rapid creation of UML diagrams by using simple text-based commands. So in ChatGPT, what you can do is you can inquire a simple question that please describe this particular functionality in Plant UML format and then paste that format in the Plant UML URL. I'm going to give it a simple command that please describe a library management system in Plant UML format. Let's see what it has given me. It has given me the library management system in Plant UML diagram. It has given me a class on library, then a class on book, its variables, along with the data types, and a class member. And then it has given me the different associations that I can have among them. It has told me that library represents the library class and contains these attributes: book, member, and then we have relationships between the classes depicted using the association notation. The library class has one to many with both book and member. The member has one to many with the book class, representing that the book borrowed by a member. This is a very basic representation of library management in Plant UML. So what I can do here is I am going to copy this code I have already opened gituml.com plant UML format. And what I will do is that I will just copy paste my code here and I'm going to click on generate UML. Okay, so it has given me a very detailed UML diagram that might have taken a lot of time for me to generate on my own. Okay, so you can see that this is a class diagram. Let's understand how an activity diagram looks like. So you can see Plant UML has created a near perfect class diagram for the library management system. Now let us describe a simple use case of issuing a book from the library. We would need to see a detailed activity diagram for the same. Let us extend our prompt and ask a follow-up question here. Please give me a activity diagram for issuing a book in Plant UML format. So remember that it has already taken the use case that we were working with, and it has given me that member provides a library card. If it is valid, then yes. Otherwise, the member book is not available, and inform the member that the card is invalid. Let's see how it looks like in Plant UML. I'm going to generate the UML, and this is how it looks like. The member is going to provide a library card. If it's valid, then it lets the member select a book. And if the book is available, it will record as borrowed and update the status and print the receipt. Otherwise, it will inform the member that the book is not available. And if it is not a valid library card, it is going to inform the member that the card is invalid. This is a pretty good diagram, and it might take a lot of time for me to create this if I want to create it from scratch. Let us see another example where I say, please give me a sequence diagram for signing up a new member in the library management system. You can see that I did not even mention that I want it in Plant UML format. It has automatically assumed by the context of our conversation before and given me the Plant UML format for the same. Let's copy paste this and see how it looks like. Okay, so I'm just going to see how it looks like. Oh wow, it has given me a very detailed sequence diagram. It has given the different users. Here there is library, membership controller, and member. Create a new member account, generate member ID, create new member instance, add member to the library, and provide member ID and details to the user. As you can see on the screen that this sequence diagram is depicting whatever I have asked from ChatGPT. It showcases how you can modify the diagram to precisely match your requirements. You should feel free to experiment and customize it further to suit your new project idea. With the assistance of ChatGPT, you can now engage in the entire process of brainstorming, outlining a project structure, and detailing its aspects using all of these UML diagrams. This is a very transformative approach to project development and designing that signifies a paradigm shift that will undoubtedly continue to evolve in the future. I think you should definitely embrace these new possibilities and the ever-changing landscape of project work. The next feature that I find immensely valuable is data generation. When working on a project, any developer can often require a substantial amount of sample data. Working with realistic sample data is essential for testing and developing applications before it goes to production. ChatGPT can help you generate this kind of sample data that fits your specific requirements because it can be tedious to determine the data types, fields, and values and then painstakingly input it all in your code. However, with ChatGPT, we can easily obtain ideas for data types, fields, and values. Not only that, it can assist in generating the data itself. I have personally used this feature in my own projects, and it's a tremendous time saver. The generated data can be formatted in various ways such as JSON, CSV, or XML. Let's demonstrate it by requesting some sample data on some social networking website. Instead of brainstorming and manually typing everything, I could simply ask for a JSON array containing 10 best social networking websites, each with at least 10 fields. Let's see what we get. Let us input, I need some sample data. I need a sample data as JSON array of 10 best social networking websites with at least 10 fields each. Let us see what ChatGPT has given us. It has given us 10 different social networking websites, that is Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, WeChat, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, Snapchat, and Pinterest. It has also mentioned that the data provided here is fictional and may not reflect the actual values or statistics of any of these networking websites. As a result, we receive a JSON array of all the social networking websites, including fields such as name, website, users, founded in, headquarters, CEO, monthly active users, revenue, employees, and description. Facebook is a popular social networking platform. Let us see if we can add a little bit detail to it. Please add a small paragraph in the detail description field for all 10 websites. As you can see, it has added a small paragraph in the description field. It says Facebook is a popular social networking platform that allows users to connect with friends, share updates, photos, and videos, and discover new content and communities of interest. This is a pretty good answer, and it has given me description for all the 10 social networking websites. Additionally, if we desire a different format, if I am not looking for a JSON array format, we can ask the same data in XML as well. Let us try to ask, please convert this data into XML. You can see here that we have got our data in XML format. While there are external services like Macaru for similar functionality, I believe that with this, it is very easier for me to generate this kind of data and also convert or translate it into the format that I require it to be. This can be including APIs, and these services like Macaru can become less prevalent with the advent of ChatGPT. So the versatility and power of this tool has the potential to replace a lot of these specialized services. In addition to generating documentation like we have seen before, it proves to be an invaluable resource for data generation and formatting as well. It is truly enhancing productivity and streamlining our entire software development process. Natural language programming is a concept that can be intimidating for many people as they fear it might replace their jobs. However, in many cases, it is more likely to transform their roles and make some of their tasks much easier. With natural language programming, you can instruct AI on what you want to achieve without the need to write every line of code. While a solid foundational knowledge of programming remains crucial for this functionality, the ability to switch between languages becomes feasible as long as you understand the fundamentals. For example, let us try to construct a very detailed prompt and give it to ChatGPT. I want to aim to create a REST API. Comprehension of its components is essential, although you may not need to know this exact syntax due to natural language programming. So, allow me to provide you with a simple example. Let's imagine using a language like Rust, which I am not extensively familiar with. However, by describing my requirements in plain English like we have been doing till now, I can still request the creation of a REST API in Rust. I specify the desired fields for the products entity, including ID name, description, and category ID. Furthermore, I express the intention to establish a relationship between the category ID and another resource called categories by employing an SQL-lite database and leaving the choice of frameworks and libraries open to ChatGPT. I'm going to submit my instructions. Let's type this instruction out in ChatGPT. I'm going to type, I need a REST API built with Rust. It should have products with fields like ID, name, description, and category ID. The category ID should have a relationship with another resource called categories. Categories should have an ID and name field. Let's use an SQL-lite database and use any framework or libraries you see fit. Let us see what ChatGPT gives us for this very detailed prompt. Let's see what are the different steps it has given us. It has told us that we can use the Attix web framework along with Diesel ORM for database operations. It is asking us to set up the project first by using these Rust commands. Then open cargo, create a env file, create a new file called diesel.toml. And then second step is to implement the API. It is asking me to create a new file called main.rs with the following code. And it has also commented the code for me to understand it better. It has added all the products. And then it is asking me to create the SQLite database and generate the schema. The third step is to start the API by using the command cargo run. At the end, it is telling me that now you have built a REST API in Rust using Attix Web and Diesel. The API exposes two endpoints, products for retrieving products and products for creating a new product. So to interact with the API, you can use tools like curl or send HTTP requests using preferred programming language or API testing tool. And it has also given me a note that this is a simplified example to demonstrate the basic structure and functionality of a REST API. In production environment, you might run into errors and you might have to implement additional CRUD operations and authentications and more. While AI cannot directly access your machine and create files, it has given me a very detailed set of instructions for achieving the desired outcome that I have asked. For example, like we saw, it suggests to create a new app using Cargo, and it has asked how, and it has told me how to establish a connection to SQLite database, creating endpoints for various functionalities. It is important to note that sometimes the AI's response may be incomplete, but you can request to continue from where it left off. And understanding the fundamentals of APIs, data models, and relationships is paramount in comprehending the generated code that it has given us. In this rapidly evolving landscape, the significance of understanding these underlying concepts outweighs the importance of memorizing any specific syntax. These technologies that possess natural language programming power, developers need to focus more on understanding the logic and processes rather than memorizing the syntax, right? Embracing this new technology will undoubtedly shape the future of programming and software development process as we see it. Let us understand how UI UX works using ChatGPT now. Designing user interfaces is an essential part of software development. ChatGPT can provide you with valuable insights and suggestions for UI and layout design. By describing your requirements and sharing sketches or wireframes, you can generate some recommendations for visually appealing and intuitive user interfaces. Let's see some of the important aspects of user design that you can ask ChatGPT and get suitable responses out of it. First is creating user personas. Let's give a command saying that create user personas for a diet planning application. Let's see what are the different user personas it has given us. First is health conscious Helen. It says she's a female, 35 years old, occupation as an office manager. Helen is committed to maintaining a healthy lifestyle and wants to lose weight. There are some challenges and what are the needs from the app, like customized meal plans, calorie and macronutrient tracking, grocery list generation, reminders, and motivational features to stay on track. Next is a fitness focused Felix. The occupation of this person is a trainer, and Felix is passionate about fitness. Challenges are Felix struggles with meal planning and ensuring he gets enough protein and nutrients to support his fitness goals. And what are his needs? Are customizable meal plans, comprehensive nutrition information, food database, tracking feature to monitor his progress, and integration of fitness tracking devices to sync his exercise data. The third persona is a busy parent, Brian. So, Brian is a sales manager and is a very busy father who wants to provide nutritious meals for his family despite his hectic schedule. Challenges are Brian needs to find time to plan, and the needs are customizable meal plans, allergy and preference filters, quick and easy recipes, automated generation of groceries, cooking tips and techniques to save time in the kitchen. And it says that these personas represent different target users who have specific goals and challenges when it comes to diet planning. Designing an app that caters to these particular needs will help you ensure that the user experience is very positive and it increases the app's usefulness for a diverse range of users. So, ChatGPT has understood the target audience, which is very vital for any product design or a UI design. And it is a very crucial step in developing user personas that accurately represent what I want to achieve. By providing relevant information like I have given before, it is going to give me the product's target audience and can generate specific personas that can guide me to design my user interface in a better way. Let's see the next example. I want to create some content on the product description. I'm going to write a product description for a diet planning application with a USP that it has the database of all the available Indian foods. You can see here that it has not only given me a product description, it has given me an entire catchphrase with the name, which says NutriPlan, your ultimate diet planning companion. It has told me that it's a cutting edge diet planning application that revolutionizes the way you manage your nutrition and your health goals. There are some key features that it has mentioned, that it has a comprehensive Indian food database. It specializes in understanding if you're craving for butter chicken or aloo gobi, NutriPlan has got you covered. Then it has also listed personalized meal plans, recipe suggestions and nutrition information, calorie and macronutrient tracking, allergies and dietary restrictions, grocery list generation, and fitness integration. NutriPlan seamlessly integrates your popular fitness tracking devices and apps. And it can also integrate your metrics to gain a comprehensive overview of your progress. This is a pretty detailed and attractive product description. I can edit it according to my personal requirements. Providing a compelling and informative content for any particular website is very essential for a UI UX designer. And by giving specific topics or keywords to ChatGPT, It generates a wide range of content ideas, like you have seen on the screen here. And it also aids with writing a clear and concise content, such as articles or product descriptions or anything that you require. Let us see how I can improve my design ideas or generate my design ideas using this. I'm going to give a command that generate a design system components, create design system components for a diet planning application. Wow, it has given me the different colors, the icons, the buttons that I need to add, the cards and tiles. Let's see what it has given. It has given that the headings should use bold and modern font. It has to be highlighted, apply a different color. Color should be primary, secondary colors, and neutral colors. Then there are icons, meal icons, nutritional icons, activity icons. It has asked me to include icons related to physical activities like fitness tracking to enhance user engagement. Then the different type of buttons that we would require. There's a ghost button to implement a transparent or outline button style for subtle interactions like editing a meal or removing an item from the plan. There are cards and tiles, there's forms and input fields like meal search field, there's a quantity selector, preferences checkboxes, and then there is progress and feedback. There's progress bars, toast notifications, and error and validation messages. As you can see that it has given me a very detailed answer on what all I need to add in my particular user interface. Design is an iterative process that requires constant change of fresh ideas. ChatGPT can generate innovative design ideas based on your user feedback or other inputs that you provide. So, by providing information about the product, if I am offering more details about the design idea that I want to add or about the product, then it is going to give me exactly what I require. Generating a simple code base for a use case can also be one of the functionalities of user design. I can ask that I want a code snippet for all the types of buttons. You can see that it has given me all the button styles that it has mentioned before. There's primary button, there's secondary button, and there's ghost button. It has remembered the context of the conversation and given me the code snippet that I require to build a solid base for my additional code that I'm going to add for the entire user interface. Let us give a command saying I need a HTML and CSS in separate files for a sign up homepage with an ever changing landscape in the first half and the sign up form in the bottom half. You can see here that it has given me a index.html file where there are there's an ever changing landscape content goes here, and then there's a sign up form that goes here. It has not given me the exact landscape that I require, but I can add to it by researching a bit more. It has given me a base to create my HTML file, and it has also given me a style.css where the landscape, sign up forms, all of these have specific description on how they should look on my user interface. And it has also given me some note on remember to replace landscape image.jpg in the CSS file with the actual path to your landscape image. This is a very good suggestion in case I forget to do it. So you can say that in conclusion, it has proved to be a very powerful tool that significantly improves the user experience of products because I can build the design and the code. If not completely, it is not going to replace it completely, but I am going to get a very solid foundation, and I'm going to have a base on which I can build on. I have personally found that it is very beneficial in generating user personas, crafting content, enhancing conversational interfaces, and generating some new design ideas. I can also conduct a user research by it. So, by integrating ChatGPT with other design tools and techniques, I can create a very user centered and engaging product. Let us delve deeper and ask more specific questions to ChatGPT.
But before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends hoping to learn ChatGPT. Also, do let us know in the comments if you have any questions, suggestions, or requests for more information, and we will be happy to incorporate it in the next video.
For instance, let us ask, what are the top 5 books on Java? Let's see the books that it has suggested. There's Effective Java, Head First Java, Java the Complete Reference, Java Concurrency in Practice, and Clean Code. Head First Java, Effective Java, I have personally read and they are pretty good. Remember that programming books can only complement your learning process, but hands-on is something that you have to do. This is a very good response. Let us build on top of this and inquire that tell me some key takeaways from the book Head First Java. Once again, we receive a very comprehensive answer. The book covers various topics such as object-oriented programming, Java syntax and language features, GUI programming, Java APIs, design patterns, and practical examples. Let's explore some general questions like, how can I become a front-end developer? According to ChatGPT, for me to become a front-end developer, I need to learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, master some front-end frameworks and libraries such as React, gain some hands-on experience, learn responsive web page design, familiarize yourself with version control, stay updated with the trends, build a portfolio, collaborate and network, and continuous learning. Okay. And it also tells me that becoming a front-end developer is a journey that requires consistent practice, perseverance, and passion for learning. Now let's consider more specific examples. We can request ChatGPT to provide us with a shell command, such as finding the names of all JPG files in a directory and writing them to a text file. Please give me a shell command on finding all JPG files and writing them to a text file. I personally love this response. Even if you aren't well versed in Linux commands, you can easily find the exact instruction you need to solve the problem. Additionally, ChatGPT explains how the command works line by line, providing you a very comprehensive answer like what is find, what is type F, what is name, what is I, grep, how you can redirect the filtered output to a text file. And it also tells me that after running this command, you should find a text file named this in the current directory, unless you specify a different directory for the output file. The file will contain the list of JPG file names found in the specified directory and its subdirectories. Furthermore, we can ask ChatGPT to provide us with Git commands. For example, we can inquire to determine the number of lines of code committed to a Git repository. ChatGPT can help to do some creative tasks. For example, if you want to start a business and you need some name suggestions for a revolutionary online shopping app. So let's ask, suggest some attractive names for an online shopping application. It has suggested so many names for the online shopping application that I want to build. There's ShopZen, ChickCart, ShopEase, Dealmakers. It has also told me to choose a name that aligns with my brand, target audience, and the overall theme of the online shopping application. These are just few examples of prompts that you can use to interact with ChatGPT. You can ask questions in your own way, edit the questions that we have seen so far, or get creative with it and ask whatever you feel like you want to get out of it.
By the way, if you want to learn about generative AI in far more depth and detail than what I'm covering here, we have a lot of courses of AI and ML from top universities in India and the world. Link is pinned in the comments, go check it out.
Now let's go to job applications. When it comes to applying to jobs, there are a lot of things that you need to do. For example, setting up your resume, creating cover letters, and then practicing your interviews for your specific job profile, like a front end developer, a back end developer, or a Java developer. It can be anything, or an architect as well. So, ChatGPT can provide various forms of assistance in this. For example, you can request it to write a resume for you based on provided information. You have to simply specify your experience in coding. For example, I am going to specify I have 5 years of experience in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React. I want to create a tech savvy. I want to create a tech resume for the top companies in India. Please help me make my resume. Let's see the response that ChatGPT gives us. It has created a generic basic resume layout that includes my name, my contact information. There is a summary that it has given: highly skilled and motivated front end developer, demonstrated expertise in building responsive web applications. Then it has given me a format for my experience, my company name, location, and a few pointers. It has also mentioned RESTful APIs without me even mentioning it in my prompt. And it has mentioned that I have mentored junior developers. When you can have multiple experiences, and then it has given me the list of skills that I have, that is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Redux, Git, testing and debugging, agile methodologies, education, and references. It has given me a note that I have to tailor the resume to the specific requirements and preferences of the companies that I'm applying to. Highlight relevant achievements, projects, and skills that showcase your expertise in front end development. Also, ensure that your resume is well organized, error free, and visually appealing. Let me ask that I want to apply to a startup that works on an online shopping application. This startup has requested for a cover letter along with my resume. Please help me write the cover letter. Let's see if it has remembered the context and if it tells me that I want to apply for a front-end developer or not. As you can see here, it has given me a template for a cover letter, and it has automatically assumed that I'm applying for a front-end developer position for this company, and I have a strong background in front-end development, particularly in online shopping applications. And it has remembered that I have expertise in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React, and I focus on creating responsive, user-friendly interfaces. What it does for us is give us a generic template for us to build on. This is not exactly what I was going for, but I can edit it. Obviously, if I give more details about my experience and my background, it is going to give me a much more detailed answer about it. Let's try to understand if we can simulate an interview with ChatGPT. Let's simulate a technical interview. Act as a technical interviewer and give and ask 5 questions on front end development. Please note that these questions should be based on the round, first round, that is a technical round. It has not only given me a question, but it also gives me the expected answer. Then it has given me other questions on CSS, performance of a web page, then what are the key differences between CSS, grid, and Flexbox? How can you handle cross origin resource sharing in JavaScript? It has given me expected answers for all the questions. If you are unsure of an answer, if this answer is not sufficient for you, you can ask for clarification or the solution. Let us ask, give me a detailed answer for question number 1. You can see here that it has not only given me explanation on null and undefined, it has also given me a simple example and syntax for both the keywords. It tells me that understanding the differences between null and undefined is crucial for proper variable assignment, error handling, and ensuring the desired behavior of your JavaScript code. These examples that we have seen so far showcase how ChatGPT can be a valuable tool to increase productivity and accomplish some of these smaller mundane tasks more efficiently. You could have done it by yourself, but now you have a strong base to build on top of. However, it is important to remember that it is not a replacement for human expertise. These functionalities that we have seen will require human interference because you need to cross examine and you need to verify if the answer is sufficient or correct. Till now, we have seen how to brainstorm a new idea, create a simple layout of your project, and generate code on ChatGPT, how to get feedback on your code, how to optimize your code, and how to find errors in your code. Let us follow all of these steps and create a simple project without actually writing any code. First thing that I'm going to ask ChatGPT is that I want to build a web application and I want a good name and a good product description for it. Let's ask, I want to build a web application like Make My Trip. Please suggest a good name and product description. Let's see the name it has given, Trip Savvy. Trip Savvy is a cutting edge web application designed to revolutionize your travel experience. It is your go to platform for all your travel needs with its user friendly interface, powerful features. It aims to make trip planning and booking seamlessly and hassle free. It has also given a few features: smart planning made easy, seamless booking experience, stay organized, keep all your travel plans organized in one place, and unparalleled customer support. Let's ask, I want a catchphrase for this application. Please suggest. Trip Savvy, your gateway to seamless adventures. Okay, this looks good enough for me right now. Let us see if it can give me code for my HTML and CSS file, at least a basic layout. I want to add all these features to my landing page. I want my landing page to have only flights booking for now. Give me HTML and CSS code in separate files for the same. Okay, so it has given the HTML and CSS file here. What I will do is I will copy this code. I have already created two files, index.html I will just copy and paste it here, and then I'm going to copy the CSS file and paste it in my styles.css. The reason why I've pasted in styles.css is because in index.html we have referenced this file name here. And let's see if I can run it. As you can see, I have opened my index.html. It has given me a very basic layout of the web page, which has flights, hotels, car rentals, holiday packages. And in the basic layout, we have the origin, destination, and these dates which I'm hoping is for the return flight, and a button for search flights. Let's see if we can modify this a little bit. I do not want my layout to be gray. Please make it blue in color and add the catchphrase to the header beside the web, beside the application name. Add labels to the input boxes for onwards and return journey dates, and add a checkbox for the return flight option. Now it has changed the code a little bit by adding the catchphrase as I mentioned, and then it has a class called hero which has the flight details, the origin, destination, departure date, return flight, return date. Let's copy paste this and check again. I'm just going to refresh this and see how it looks like. Okay, this has completely changed now, but I don't want it like this. Let's see if it is responsive. This looks pretty cool. It is responsive. Even if I check this, this is not getting active. Okay, let's edit the command a little more. Do not add the different functions like flights, hotels with the header. Create a different layout for it. I don't want the input boxes vertically stacked. Make it horizontally stacked. Change the layout color to dark gray. I'm trying to give as many commands as possible so that I don't have to write a lot of code after this. Let's copy paste directly. See how it looks like. This is still a little better than the last time. Let's add some features here. A component below the input form for features that you mentioned in the product description. So the origin and destination side by side, and add a logo on the left side of the app name. I'm going to copy paste this again. Still generating. Okay, let's save it and see how it looks like. It has given me the different features, flights, hotels. Okay, this doesn't look that good. This has taken this logo automatically because there is a image source that it has given for the header, that is logo.png, and I already have one logo.png in my images folder, So it has automatically taken that image from there. Let's change this a little bit. Please add a background image in the hero container. Change the input boxes and button size and make it bigger. Change the features to the do not add flights and hotels as features. Add simple text based features that you mentioned in the product description. Let's see if it takes my command and makes those changes. Let me copy the HTML file, then the CSS file. See how it looks like. Okay. So since I have not given any background image, it is showing as white. It has given the different features that it was mentioning in the product description. Let's add the background image here. It is usually in the CSS file. Let's see the hero container. So here is the background image. Let's change this. BG1. This BG1 is the image that is in my images folder. So let's save this and run. As you can see that the background looks much prettier now with an image. The conditions that you want to achieve, that if my checkbox is ticked, this should be active. All of these things you can achieve using JavaScript. That I'm going to leave it up to you. But this is just a basic layout of what I want to achieve in my flights landing page. As you can see here, we have the name that it suggested initially, the catchphrase, the input form, the buttons, checkboxes, features, and a disclaimer. Let's change the font. I do not like this font, so I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it to, you can see there is a little difference in the font. And here we have a basic layout of our landing page. You can see that ChatGPT proves itself to be an exceptional coding assistant. It is showcasing its remarkable coding capabilities and how to build on top of that particular code. It has effortlessly generated impressive code even from a very straightforward instruction, highlighting that it can increase its prowess if I add more detailed commands to it. Undoubtedly, there are going to be some areas that require improvement. There are limitations, like it might not be able to understand the context completely, or it can give me an incorrect code. However, for those who want to have a solid understanding of programming principles, or build a simple web application, or build a simple layout of the web application, this chatbot will serve as a very valuable tool, enabling a very rapid development of all these web applications. So by leveraging all of these capabilities, developers with expertise can use its potential to swiftly construct these complex web applications despite having those limitations. The assistance provided by ChatGPT offers a very invaluable resource for proficient programmers, and that can aim to accelerate their entire development process. Let us conclude this module by understanding whatever we have learned so far. In this module, we saw how ChatGPT can help us create a detailed study plan, how to generate code, how to get feedback on your code, how to optimize that code, and how to find different sort of errors in that code. You also saw how you can design your entire web application, such as getting a product description, how to understand what are the different user personas, how you can create UML diagrams using ChatGPT. We saw that ChatGPT serves as a very valuable resource for all sorts of developers. It gives you guidance on design patterns, code development, version control, how to optimize your code, and so much more. It simplifies complex technical topics, making them more accessible to newcomers and aiding their transition into a new team. Additionally, ChatGPT has provided us with a lot of insight regarding how you can design your web application, how to apply different sorts of design patterns to it, how you can generate code according to your own requirements, and how to get code reviews from that particular code. You can also understand coding conventions, how to do proper documentation, and some other mundane tasks such as creating unit tests. This promotes alignment among different team members and enables effective collaboration among the different members of the team. By using ChatGPT for knowledge sharing and understanding, software development has become a much more smoother journey. However, it is important to understand that it has certain limitations. It may struggle with math, it may struggle with generating incorrect code, and it may also stop sometimes due to heavy lag. OpenAI acknowledges these challenges and highlights the possibility of plausible yet incorrect answers. Since ChatGPT is trained on a vast set of data, a very diverse set of data, it may come up with some bias in its answers. So it is very important for anyone using ChatGPT to use it with caution. Thorough research and verification are essential, especially when it comes to critical and complex tasks. While it can definitely save your time, it is very important for you to do your primary research and verify the answers that it gives you according to your requirements. I would like to encourage all of you to try it out and get creative with it. The final remark that I want to end this module on is, will ChatGPT replace developers? This is a very sought after question in the industry right now. Well, my answer is no for now. But I want to end it with a note by saying that developers will not be replaced by AI, but developers who do not use AI will definitely be replaced by developers who know AI, how to use it, and how to leverage its powerful capabilities.